Hello there my sweet friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Belinda here from Visualize to NZ. Trashcraft Tuesday. I had to remind myself of that because I'm recording ahead for while I'm away on holiday. But yes, that's what we're about today, and I'm back in this book that I showed you in last week's video. But before we delve into this and get on with a new project, I wanted to show you the ones that we made last week, the little corner tucks. So I've decorated them up. These two I've done for the rose journal that I want to be doing, which I've just covered with some paper napkin, and I think they're super pretty. Might add a word or a label, or I might just leave them as is because I think they're just lovely as they are. This one, I put a cluster on each side. So in my cluster book, I just chose out two that sort of fitted and were a similar colour and just stuck a cluster on them. So super simple and easy. This is the one that I did with the, turning all sorts of ways here, that I did the little tab on the side of that hangs out over the page. So just a reminder in case you didn't see last week's video. So these other ones sit flush with the page, but this one hangs out over the page, and then we made this little tab on the side so it forms like a tab on the page. So this one I just collaged up with some random scraps of paper, and it's got the washi tape that I decorated the tab with, which I believe I did that part on camera. So just a bit of collaging with scraps on that one. So that's what those look like. This one I will probably add a label or a focal point, a flower, a butterfly, bird, something. This one I also might add something, maybe a little butterfly might suit that one. But yeah, these ones I think I'll probably leave as is because, you know, why argue with prettiness? Just as is. So that's those basically finished from last week. Right, let's get back into this book and choose some pages to work with. At the moment, I'm leaving the ones with the images that I want to keep. This one, I'm a bit iffy about, not sure. So at the moment, we've got plenty to work at without taking that one out. So, and it's also got this constellation of like an eagle on the back. This little comet illustration I might use. This little bit down here, not sure, but there's really cool cloud illustration on this side. So just finding myself some pages without illustrations. I'm going to grab a couple, and we've got two here that haven't got images. I'm not sure that I'll get two done of this project, but you know, we shall grab two out just in case. Right, so a book page. This is a good project for those larger pages. This is actually a pretty, almost perfect size. It is, get the measurements, about 9¼ inches tall, or 23½ centimeters. And it is 7 inches wide, or just a fraction under 18 centimeters. So that's the size of page I'm working with. And for today we are making a triple pocket out of one page. We are. So first off, I'm going to just fold it in half. And there's a few folds to do, but they're very simple. They're nothing super complicated. So I'm going to fold it in half that way, and then I'm going to fold it in half this way. And I'm just going to leave the torn edge. I don't mind that. If it was a bit too raggedy, I would trim it down. But I'm okay with that edge. So I'm just going to fold it into quarters for a start. Okay, so simple, easy. Now I'm going to take, so unfold it again, and the top part here, doesn't matter whether it's top or bottom, it's just where I'm grabbing. I'm going to fold the corner down to almost the fold line, so not quite on the fold line, just a bit back from it. Fold that one down, and the same on the other side. Almost up to the fold line, just not quite. Like so. So very easy, very simple. And so we fold that up, and we've got this this sort of thing happening here. Okay, so in the back, fold those two in, and then fold it back in half, and then flip it around, and then we're going to fold these back ones in, not quite as far. So you want to leave, let's measure it so you can get a better idea, about 1 centimetre or 3/8 of an inch, give or take. Doesn't need to be precise, but we're going to fold it, and that's the distance between the edge of this and our center fold line, and try and sort of get it straight there. And what we want to achieve is 2 layers, so this back one's going to stick out further than our front one, if you can see that. And we're going to do the same on the other side, and this is as complicated really as it gets. So that's a wee bit close. We'll just try and get the same kind of measurement so they look even as the eyeball cares. Okay, so we have 2 sort of almost triangular bits. This one's a bit blunt, and then this one's just got a slight bluntness on the tip, but it doesn't matter. Right, from here I'm going to trim these flaps down a bit. I don't want all of that. I'm going to reduce some bulk, so I'm just going to leave a bit. That's going to reinforce the edge of our pockets, but we don't need the entire piece. You could just glue the whole thing down if you prefer, especially if your book page is lighter than mine. This is quite a sturdy paper, so I definitely don't need all that bulk. So on all 4 of your fold down bits, like so, just to leave that little edge that is going to reinforce our pockets. Now you could use glue stick here. I'm just going to use my tacky glue because I've found that glue stick is a little problematic on this paper for whatever reason. I'm not quite sure why. So I'm just going to skip the glue stick and go straight to what I know works well, and glue all those flaps down. So I was just having a play with a page and sort of folding it this way and that way, and just seeing what I could come up with and what I wanted to do for a project for today. And I came up with this, and I thought, oh yeah, okay, that seems to be fun. Let's go with that and see what happens. So I hope it provides you some inspiration, my friends. And I hope you're having a good week so far. I'll be still on holiday when this goes to air. So I don't know what I'll be doing. Relaxing, hopefully. Might be in the hot pools. There's a thermal complex where we're going. It's very popular, well known, and because it's owned by our local council, we get a discount. We get half price entry, because it's not that cheap. Even at half price, it's still reasonably costly for the 2 of us to go. But if we had to pay full price, then we probably only go once, and that'd be it. Whereas we might be able to go a couple of times on our holiday. And it's just really relaxing. Spend a couple of hours soaking, do some swimming in the cool pool, which is not cold, it's just cooler. Yeah, and there's hydro slides and, you know, lazy river, all that type of fun stuff. So hopefully, maybe on the day this airs, I might be having a soak in the hot pools. So I'm not going to do my nails before I go, because the hot water in the hot pools would not do the nails very good. So I realized there's no point doing my nails. Let's just ignore that. I can do them when I get back. Right, so this is the basis of our pocket. The plan here then is it's going to take up most of a page, like so. So you can see the size is pretty good. And when it's glued down, we are going to glue. In fact, maybe do I need to do that now? No, I need to decorate it first before it's glued down, really. Okay, let's think around it so it gives me a little thinking time, and you can start to see the edges of where the layers are and all that jazz. So what are you up to today? I may or may not be in the hot pools, or I might be out looking at the local shops or something. Don't know. What are you up to? Are you crafting up a storm? Are you working? Are you on holiday too? I imagine there's someone who's also on holiday besides me. Whatever you're doing, I hope it's a great day and that you're finding some joy in it. Some joy and some peace. I've got this black mark on this page and it's annoying me. Every time I look at it, I feel like I brush it off, but it's not something I can brush off. It's on the page. In fact, is it something I can erase? No, I think it's actually in the paper. Right, so, oh, I missed an edge. Too much talking. Not enough concentration. Okay, so that's just going to help you see as well where the different layers and pockets are going to be. So we're going to end up with 2 pockets in the back. So we're going to have one here and one here. And then we're going to have a big one in front here. Okay, so I'll explain how we achieve that when we get to glue it on a page. And I might just glue it on this page, cover over that mark so it doesn't bug me anymore. Because this is, you know, relatively plain page and we can still journal around the edges. You can also put it this way round, depending on which way your page is facing. You could put it this way. It's also something that you could turn into a wraparound, just using that fold line and just using it as a double pocket on both sides, or double tuck. So there is that option, but not the option we're doing today. So I just want to make sure, yes, the black mark side. Right, so let's decorate this up. What do I want to decorate it with? Scraps, I think. Just going to grab some scraps. That's a pretty scrap. Random scraps. They're both from, actually no. I was going to say Rachel and Bella Krause, but I'm not sure about that one. That one is. A bit of that. Is that enough? Might be enough. Just looking for something else that might pair with those if I need it. That's probably no good because it's quite small. Bit of painty paper. I think these are all a bit small really that I'm pulling out. Or that's a bit of mine. Bit of my printable. Let's see what we can do. We've kind of got pinks and then this. We don't need this scrap. I mean, that's not on this project. That's a bit random. As is this one. Although it's a bit of contrast, so we might leave it out for now. Do these all kind of work together? There's kind of this reddy colour in here. Do we want book page on book page? Maybe not. I think that works really nicely together. So just doing a bit of editing on my choices here. Let's get rid of this white edge on this piece here. This is a bit of my painty sheet music. Or ink, actually. It's not paint. The white is paint. The white splatter is paint, but the rest of it's actually ink. Oops. Hold it down firmly for a better tear. Been using my guillotine so much that I've actually haven't been tearing paper a lot like that. So I'm going to leave a border around it. I'm not going to cover edge to edge. Just kind of eyeballing. And this one's a bit easier because it doesn't go all the way up. Let's just put that down. There's just a little piece down the bottom here that's not torn very well. So I've got a long way to go to cover all the days that I'm away on holiday, and I'm not sure I'm going to make it still. Today is Monday. I leave on Friday. Hubby and I leave on Friday. And I've done a video for Monday, and this is the video for Tuesday. So I've still got and I've done Saturday because we leave this Friday, and so I've done this Saturday's video as well. But yeah, that leaves a whole lot of days that I have not recorded a video for yet. And I am really, really tired. So we shall see what happens, whether I get every day covered. I know I've pretty much said this in every video lately, but it still, as of recording this, is still true. So in case you don't watch every video, I am repeating it. Just so you know that if there's no video, it's because I didn't manage to get them all done. So I want to put a wee snippet of this up here. Cover it with a bit of this. It's a bit random if I just suddenly have one little piece of a different paper. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Maybe we just want to put a bit of the coloured portion without the music up at the top. So it's not really a collage with different random bits of paper. We've actually covered it with just the same. And that's fine too. That's perfectly fine. Just make sure I leave that border at the top that I was wanting. And then just about there I think should do. So I grabbed out all those different papers and have gone with just the one. It's probably kind of typical how things go, isn't it? I like that though. I think that's quite fun. Do I want to put anything in here? Don't think we'd have enough of this to do both sides, so saying no to that. But maybe we could do washi, or do we just leave the book text? Let's leave the book text because, you know, that's interesting in itself. Oops, bit of cat fur stuck in there. That's pretty normal around these parts with 4 cats, all of who like to give me cuddles. And I've had cuddles with 3 of them this morning. 3 out of the 4. Okay, next step. We can decorate this up, but we can glue it down now. It will be easy enough to decorate, you know, add a focal point, that sort of thing. So to glue it, we are going to take a glue, and on the back, going to glue this short edge here on both sides. So there and there. And we're going to glue down the center fold line. So it can go just a bit above and below the fold line, just so it sticks nicely. And we're going to pop that down on our page. It's not centered, which is fine. I'm not worried about it being centered. So just give that a little press for the moment, just to make sure. So at the moment we've still got this open, and in fact you could put writing paper in there and just have it as a cool little flip open. Another idea for you. But we're not doing that this time. So inside here I'm going to put glue along this short edge and this short edge, but this time we're not doing in the middle, so don't glue in the middle here. And we're just gonna, oops, I put glue too far, so maybe put the glue on the shorter flap side. Give that a press down. Oh, sticky fingers. Making sure, putting the lid on my glue and holding it down so it adheres nicely. Okay, so this is a little curl up at the moment, but that's just because of the glue stick, and it will flatten out, especially once it's in a journal. It will be fine. So we have, no, I don't want to use that, don't want to fold that. We've got a pocket in here. This isn't really a good option to use. Let's just tear that bit off so we can actually fit it in there. So you've got a pocket here, and then we've got the bigger pocket for something bigger. That's too big. It has to fit between these 2 points because that's where we glued. That will fit in there. Okay, so let's decorate this up now. What do I want to put on it? That is the question. I'm just wondering whether I want to put some animal or something. This is recent edition, which you may or may not have seen, and it's got some reasonably big images on it, and it might be a bit big. Would that yellow bird show up? Might be a bit yellow on yellow, might not show up quite enough. What about this flying bird? A long-tailed grass finch. No, he's going to be a bit uncomfortable on that, I think. Oh, look at that beautiful blue. A swallow tanager. Not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but trying to gauge. No, he's a wee bit long. It's Hawaiian honey creeper. No, he's facing the wrong way. Oh, what about you? Velvet fronted nuthatch. Gosh, some birds have the weirdest names, don't they? Again, he's kind of facing the wrong way for me. He's a bit small. It's a hard road to find the perfect image, you know? That one's got the beak over top of his back, so not ideal. Oh, interesting colour. I've never seen a bird that colour. Oh, now he might be nice. Great Kiskadee. I think he would work. Let's try. So sorry to the other bird who's going to have its toes cut off. These images, a lot of them overlap, unfortunately. But they're still usable. It just means you've got to layer up with a label or some other element over top of the bit that's chopped. So we can, you know, still use him, but he would have to have something down here to disguise his chopped off foot. Right, let's fussy cut this out. Grab my wee scissors and try and do this as quickly as possible. I'm on a real mission to use up some of the books that I've got because I love books, and I have to grab them, especially when they're free. This one wasn't free. I paid $2 for it, but it's a great book. lots of great images to harvest. But like the one I'm using to make these ephemera, it's like it was free, and you know, I tried to resist it for weeks, actually probably more like a couple of months. I tried to resist it, and then finally it got me. And it's like, well, I can't just keep adding books upon books upon books, otherwise hubby and I are going to be out on the street living in a tent, and the house will just be full of books and paper and all sorts of glorious stuff. I'm not a hoarder. Well, hubby might disagree. I don't think I'm a hoarder. I just love certain things and they're useful. But they're only useful if you use them. So that is my goal, to actually start in earnest using things. Which is very difficult considering I've got very little time. I spend all day, every day crafting, and yet I never have enough time to do everything I want to. So there is that. But that's no excuse to just keep getting books and then not doing anything with them. Got to be reasonable to avoid being termed a hoarder, for one. Because it has negative connotations, doesn't it, that word? But if I get the things and then actually do use them, which I do, but I just feel like I'm not using enough quickly enough, if that makes sense. Yeah. Then it's not hoarding, it's just resources that you haven't got to yet. Is that the same thing, or is it different? I don't know. I've got to laugh at myself because nobody else does. Actually, it's funny. A few of you guys have said to me in comments that that I'm funny and that I make you laugh and things like that. And I have to tell you that I really, really appreciate that. I was bullied all through primary school, and not quite as much in high school. That was a bit of a relief, but still was prone to bullying. But yeah, primary school was quite miserable. So that's the age of 5 to 12, essentially. If you're not familiar, because I know like different places have different schooling systems. So basically the age of 5 to 12, I was bullied a lot. Even to the point where I was made to stay home by the teachers for 3 days while they talked to all the students and gave them a rack up about bullying and stuff. So, you know, I was never physically hurt, but, you know, bruises heal, but the old emotions and self-esteem and everything, that takes a bit bigger knock. Anyway, all that to say that during that bullying, part of what they used to tell me was that I had no sense of humour. And so I grew up in my teenage years and my young adult, you know, into my 20s and that, believing that I didn't have a sense of humour. And so when somebody takes the time to say that they find me funny, that I'm humorous, it really helps to heal that inner child in me that heard repeatedly that I had no sense of humour. And looking back, I can see I totally did have a sense of humour, but it wasn't rude. And that was their definition of a sense of humour, was that if you laughed at rude jokes, you know, the age of kids, what they thought was funny, it was all crude and horrible. And I didn't laugh at those things because I didn't think it was funny. I guess I was a bit more mature. And so, yeah, for ages I believed I didn't have a sense of humour. So thank you to those who tell me that you find me funny and enjoy my humour, because it does mean a lot. Okay, I think you are beautiful, birdie, but I feel like you are a little bit lost amongst the brightness of the background. And it's really curling up. So let's just give it a it'll bend back the other way. What would I like to do to fix that? Got some very thin dictionary page. So we've started with book page, we've got music, now we're going book page. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. Let's just grab a page. This is just such a tiny wee dictionary with tiny wee writing, which is, I wanted something that was thin but also small, like small text. And let's just tear off that edge very roughly. Tear off that straight bit at the top and the bottom. This may not be long enough, but we'll see. Yeah, and how wide. I'm going to just go the maximum width to start with. Otherwise we'll have to start with a fresh bit of paper. I think we can make it work. Just randomly tearing there. That's it. Just gives enough of a kind of a break from the background so that our bird is not completely swallowed by the brightness of the paper in the background. I think that is good. Do I want anything else? Ooh, sorry, squeaky chair alert. Try and separate off one of these, which wasn't too bad. Sometimes they're a nightmare to try and separate paper doilies. Just wondering whether we want to. Oh, that's pretty. That is pretty. Do we want that much, or just where do I want it is the thing, and do I want it over the book page? Page down a little bit. Something like that. Okay. Kind of want to make a mark there and a mark there, because I've already glued the pocket down. I can't just put it on and then trim it off because I've already glued it, so maybe I should have waited. But there's more than one way to achieve something. And that's it. So I wonder if we can put that on without cutting any more of it off. I think we probably can. Put that right up there. That over there. That there. And then maybe a label or something there. Okay, we've got a plan. Right, that's going to go, just kind of looking at where I've got it to try and memorize placement. Sorry, gluing off to the side where you can't see. Because I've now got all these random pieces all over my desk. Right. Kind of was about there, give or take. Whoops, slipping, sliding. It's interesting, it's got lump of gold on the dictionary page there, and it's kind of like there's goldy colours in the background, and then our bird is like a piece of gold. I think that's quite interesting. Right, I'm going to tacky glue this, save my glue stick and my patience. Takes a little bit of time, but I think it's worth it. Less messy, less dangerous to my glue stick and my doily. It's almost a relief when you get to a bigger patch and you can go a bit sort of quicker. I don't do all the little bits and pieces, but enough that, especially around the edges, that it's not going to catch on things. Right, that should be enough. Pop that up there. And the glue marks that you can see, they will dry and not be visible. Right, you bird, I don't think I'm going to distress, maybe, changing my mind as I'm saying the words, maybe around the feet. And I think I need to do it on my glue book here. Just give you brown legs rather than grey. And does she stop? No, she doesn't. She keeps on going. It's the prerogative of a crafter. Make it up as you go along, people. That is creativity at work. You know, to be creative, you don't actually have to end up with something usable or pretty at the end of it. I mean, that's definitely great if you do, but it's not a prerequisite to being creative. Being creative is just about trying things, about doing stuff, about making, and having fun. Very therapeutic. Doesn't mean that you actually have to end up with a usable something or other, or a pretty something or other. A lot of creative things can be just absolutely pure and utterly ugly, as long as we have fun in the process and learn as well. Learn as we go. Well, that didn't turn out, but why didn't it turn out? Because of the colour combination or the technique, or I need to improve my skills, or the balance was off, or, you know, whatever it is. Learn from it. Don't let it stop you, because it doesn't mean you're not creative. On the contrary, I would say it means you are creative, because you're playing and experimenting and doing and trying things out. Oh, you're such a fine birdie. You really are. Okay, so I feel like I want something down in here. I'm thinking actually a number. I was originally thinking label, but I think I've changed my mind to a number. And what colour? No, it's a bit, I think maybe we need to go a bit more neutral. Too big. What else can I find in here? I think that's going to be too dark. Well, it's not actually bad. Don't mind it. About this one. Actually, I like that one. Okay, let's go with that one. Click, click. Yep, and I'm not going to stress around it. I don't think it needs it. So we're just going to glue it on. There. That's fun. I like that. So where is something I can use? Oh, here's a recipe I've written down. Is it? Yep, it's the right size. So imagine this is a journal card. So that will slide in there like so, you know, decorate it up nicely. And then what have I got? I've got some playing cards here. So they're probably a bit small. Yeah, they're a bit small. Need something bigger so that it pokes out. So one there. So I just won't put it all the way in, just for demonstration purposes. And then another one down there. And there's our triple pocket out of one book page. Do you think it's fun? I think it's fun. I think it's really cool. There is one other option I had thought about prior. And in fact, this is my sort of play here where I was kind of experimenting, is this tip out the front. You can fold it under if you like and glue it under so that you've got a bit of this background pocket showing, and then you could decorate that up or put something there, and you could put it like a tab, a whale tail tab or something. Let's just grab that out. So imagine that's in our pocket. You put a whale tail tab here and it would stick out over that part. That would be another option, and I would trim off some of that point and just glue some of it down. But that's just a way to vary the look of it. Just a subtle difference. Okay, but I'm really happy with that. I think that looks super fun. We've got time. I think I'm just going to go over the making of the base again, just so that you're left with the instructions on how to build the base. Because decorating, you know, you can decorate it however you like. So take our page and fold it in half. Just trying to line up my edges here. So fold it in half and then fold it in half the other way. And I'm not worried about what's written on this book page because it's a children's book and it's kind of more of a sciencey book. So it's just talking about ordinary things, you know, nothing objectionable. Okay, so folding it back out and then folding in almost to that center fold line, but not quite. One corner. And then on the other side too. Like so. And then folding that in half and then folding these about 1 centimetre or so out from that fold line. And I do like to try and make sure that they're parallel as much as possible. And you can't always tell by the text on the paper that you're straight. Right, that all looks good enough. Okay, so you should have something like this. In fact, rather than tearing this time, I'm just going to chop with my scissors because it doesn't need to be straight. It doesn't need to be pretty on these bits. They're not going to be seen. So just chopping them is perfectly fine. Don't even need to be the same or even. Chop, chop, chop. That's a little bit quicker too, isn't it? Right, just get rid of those. I'm not going to save them. I'm going to be strong and bin them. Because I'm going to have many more where those came from. So if I need them, I can always make more. Alright, so gluing all those 4 down. So really quite quick. It'd be a really great one to mass make. Just do all the bases and then have them available to decorate as you need them. or you can decorate them as well and have them ready to go into any journal. And if you don't want to decorate them fully, just do like background papers and then save it for a focal point for when you know what type of journal it's going in. So you can tailor it to that journal, either a piece of ephemera from a kit you're working with or a book illustration or whatever. Or you can go generic like I've done with a bird. You can choose a bird or a butterfly or a flower, which go with most things. So you can take it to whatever stage you like, you're comfortable with, or how you normally work. Oops, gluing my mat again. So there we go. There's our base ready to rock and roll. I don't even think it's necessary at this stage to glue down these edges, in case you want to actually cover in here the back bit that's peeking out, because you may want to do that on some of them or all of them. Whereas I chose not to on this. I think some of them I would choose to cover that, just to give it a different look and be fun. Easy to do the base. That's it. Base done. And remember, when you glue it on the page, gluing down the center fold line on the back and the two short bits, glue it to your page, and then this bit just gluing the top and bottom on those short bits and gluing it down there. You could reverse it, of course. You could do your double pocket on top, so on this inside bit do the top and bottom of the short bits and the center and glue that down, and then when you glue this to the page, just glue the top here and the bottom, and then have your big pocket in the back. So in that case it would be like your big pocket back here, and then your two smaller pockets here. So you could reverse the whole thing like so. So there we go. That's the project for today, using our book pages. So I've managed to use I don't know, 5 pages out of a, let's see, a 479 page book. There's a wee way to go, don't you think? But don't want that. But there are some really fun images, like this one here of the monarch butterfly and caterpillars. There's a cute little frog and toad. There's a cool whale or a shark. You know, there's lots of really cool images that I'll be harvesting from this book. Probably not so much this. You know, that doesn't really appeal. But that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the project. I hope you're inspired to give it a go. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you being here immensely. It's great to have your company. Have a great week, and I'll be back hopefully with another video tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Until I see you next time. Bye.